Hi guys, so this tutorial will be useful to you if you're just starting Photoshop and you want to learn layer masks, or if you're having some kind of issue with them, you're not understanding the principle or they're not working for you. Layer masks really are one of the most powerful parts of Photoshop, so do take the time to get to know them. I was really intimidated when I first started. I thought they were more complicated than they actually are. So here I'm going to try to show you in real simple terms the principles, how they work, how to use them, and then you can just get going and use them throughout your work. So where is our layer mask? If we duplicate our layer and we click this button here, that gives us a layer mask. It automatically comes up white. And we have two types of layer mask. We have white or black. White shows any change we've made and black hides any change we've made. So if we want a black mask, all we have to do is when we click the mask button, we've got to hit Option or Alt and then hit the mask button, and that will give us a black mask. If we want to change the mask once we've added it, we just click Command I, and that inverts the mask from black to white, from white to black. So don't worry, if you open the wrong mask and you want a different colour, then just do Command I. If I'm honest, I always do that. I always add a white mask to start with, and if I want it to be black, I click Command I. Layer masks are so powerful because they give you the chance to edit one part of a photo without affecting the remainder of the image. And that for me is why Photoshop is so powerful. So let's do an example. Let's do a crazy colour change. Don't advise you do this, but it's just to show you how this works. So now we've got a white mask. So that's our before, that's our after. The white mask shows, so it shows the change that we've just made. So the white mask is on that layer and it's showing the change in that layer. So now if we've got a white mask that's showing the change and we want to block out the change in part of the image, we need a black brush, and we're going to paint with black on the white mask. I'm going to use 100% opacity, 100% flow, and we're just going to paint over, and we need to make sure the mask is highlighted, so we're painting on the mask and not the image. And you see now we are blocking out the change we made on that half of the image. So now the change is only showing where we've got white on the mask. So that's our before and our after. And so our after is only showing on the white side and not on the black side. So now let's do another stupid example. We'd go the other way just for fun. So now if we make our mask black, remember it's Command I to make your mask black, and that's now hiding that change we've made completely. So all we can see is the original layer. We can't see our change at all. It's as if we haven't done it. But now if we take a white brush, we are going to show that change on the right hand side. So white shows, black hides. So now you'll see half of our mask is white, so we're revealing our change only on the right side where we've got white. And that's revealing our change that we've just made. And that's hiding it. The black side is hiding it and showing our original image. So now let's do a more realistic example. Suppose we want to just change the model's lips. Maybe we want her to have more orangey lips or pinker lips. Let's bring our brush down. So now let's just choose the reds and let's change them to sort of yellowy colour. It's going to be a bit extreme again, but let's show it to give a good example. Now you see everything that was red in the image has changed. It's affected everywhere. It's affected the plants and her hair as well as her lips. Now we just want it to affect her lips. So as her lips are a very small part of the image, it's better to make the mask black because that will hide the change everywhere and we can just draw it in her lips. So now let's zoom in so we can't see the change anywhere. We take a white brush on a black mask and we just now draw in with the white brush over the area that we want the change to show. So I'm not going to do this very neatly because I don't want to bore you. The point of this tutorial is just to show you how masks work. So obviously if you're doing this, then do it a lot more carefully. But I'm just going to use a bigger brush and just paint it in. And obviously we've got a big colour difference here. You'd need to do this much more subtly and work with that orangey bit. But this is just giving you the example of showing how we're making a change in one place. So let's fit on the screen. Now you can see nothing else has been affected. The red plants, the red hair are not affected, just her lips have changed. And that's the power of masks. And now you can change this however you want, and it's only going to affect where we've got white showing the change. Obviously, in reality, you're going to do a much more subtle example, like just make the lips a little bit pinker like this. So it's only showing where we've painted white on a black mask, because black hides the change. That's showing our original image, and white shows just the change in the lips. So now let's do another example. Suppose we want this background to be darker, but we don't want to affect the model. So let's duplicate our layer. And the easiest way to make something darker is to just choose a blending mode like multiply. So let's bring our opacity down to where we like it. So I think that's about right. Now she's a sort of more minor part of the image, so I think it's easier if we add a white layer mask, so we can just affect her and not the background layer. So let's keep the mask white, and now let's paint with a black brush on her where we don't want the change to show. Again, I'm not going to do this too neatly. If I was doing this for a client or for my portfolio, I'd spend a lot more time. But this is just to give an example. So we're painting black where we don't want the change to show, and the white is showing the change we've just made. And if you've made any mistakes, you can just toggle between your black and your white brush until the point that you're happy. So I think I've got a bit of a patch on her neck, so let's just work over that. So I'm just alternating between black and white until I'm happy. As you can see, we've not affected her, we've just affected her surroundings. And now we can make any changes to that layer, but it will only affect where the white mask is revealing that layer. Where we've got black, it won't affect the image. We just see the original image. So now I actually started with this image. I'm not sure what I was doing. This was on Irene Rudnick's London workshop, and we were outside for a long time, and I was actually 8 months pregnant at the time. And I don't know why, but in this photo I took loads of the left side of the location, but I didn't take any of the right side, so there's terrible composition, and I want to put that right. Fortunately for me, I took some other images, and so I've got this background which I can put into this photo using layer masks. So the first thing I'm going to do is just make my canvas bigger, so I've got lots of space to work with. It might be too big, but we can cut it later. Now if I duplicate this and take it into my other image, and I just want to sort of match it up roughly. If I can't see, I can bring my opacity down a little bit. So I'm just trying to kind of match up her arms, the right bit of the photo. I think that's about right. So now if I bring my opacity up, now I want to hide most of that image, so I'm going to make my mask black with Command I. And now using a white brush, I'm just going to paint in the edges where I want the mask to show, where I want that layer to show. So I'm just using a soft brush to paint in where I want to reveal my change. I'm just going to see if I can move it up, that would be a lot easier. Yeah, I think that looks alright. That'll do for this. Just need to tidy up at the bottom. So there we go. Before and after. So with layer masks, I've blended two photos together. And if I think I've gone over on her arm a little bit, which I think I have, I'm just block that out. So I'm not deleting anything, I'm just using black and white to hide and show, hide and show. And I can do that until I'm happy. So there we go, I hope that was useful. That shows you how to use layer masks. You can just finish by cropping this image. Just have a go with them. Remember that black hides, white shows. That's all you need to remember, and just use common sense to choose your mask. If you're making a small amendment, say just to her lips, it's easier to hide the change everywhere else, because then all you've got to do is paint over her lips in white. Otherwise you've got to paint over the whole of the rest of the image in black to block it everywhere else other than her lips, and that doesn't make sense. So have a play, and I really hope you find this tutorial useful and you can get using layer masks. They give you so much power in Photoshop, and they really are why I do 95% of my edit in Photoshop. Well, thanks guys. If you've got any questions, leave me a comment. If you haven't done so already, please do subscribe. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Bye bye.